Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and today we're going to be talking about, is tax season gonna suck? Now, as you guys know, there's a lot of things going on out in the economy right now, and so I wanted to discuss this on the channel because I know it's going to be very, very important here in the next 90 days. Now, I want to make this a very interactive thing when it comes to this video. So as I start to talk about stuff, I want you guys to go to the comments section and give me your opinion. We want to talk about different things in different markets, because a lot of times I say stuff and I always say, this is what's going on in my market, and people get triggered and say, no, that's not it, and that's complete opposite of what's going on. Share. Don't say, like, if somebody says their market's hot and you say it's not, don't argue, explain where you're at and why it is. So I'll go ahead and start off with one. I made a few videos talking about how prices are going down. I'm buying cars cheaper and cheaper. Everybody keeps saying prices are going up. In certain places, I'm sure there are, but if you don't look hard enough, prices are gonna go up and they're gonna stay up. We've been buying consecutively lower prices. But anyways, I digress. I want to make sure we talk about the most important thing right now, which is tax season. A lot of dealers, a lot of rental car companies, and everybody else is looking for this. Now, before we get into this, it's very, very important that you gently squeeze the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It helps me find amazing people like yourselves that enjoy automotive content. Also, please consider subscribing. We do post 3 times a week, so make sure you click the notification bell. And once again, follow us on Instagram at automotive.life, and let's go ahead and get in the video. So whether you're just a regular viewer clicking on this and I somehow popped up in your feed, or you're an experienced dealer, we're going to be talking about tax season. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to explain why tax season is so important for the automotive industry. Whether you're a car dealer, you own a rental car company, or you're even an auto repair shop. At this particular time, as everybody knows, there's a big chunk of money that gets sent out to everybody. Now, currently during these times is when everybody basically waits for either to purchase a new car, maybe buy some new furniture, holding off on repairs till they get a big chunk of money. So it literally stimulates the economy and sets the trajectory off for the rest of the year. So a lot of dealers, we look forward to this time every single year because it helps pace us and lets us know what's going on. Now, for the last few years, I'd say probably the last 5 years, tax season is not what it used to be. We used to get tons of people with $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, $15,000 sometime refunds, buying cars like crazy. They used to come in like locusts and just buy everything. We would have 100, 200 cars on the lot and they would just buy every single one. And the banks were buying because people had big down payments and stuff like that. And so what's happened over the last few years is everything with this healthcare bill. I don't know if it's Obamacare or something else where they charge you the $1,500. A lot of people with student loan debts, a lot of other debts that are not being forgiven that are being brought back up through taxation. Little by little, it's eating away at the big tax returns. So all the stuff we used to be so excited for, like, hey man, we're gonna get all these cars out, we're gonna make a bunch of money, we're gonna have a bunch of people coming with big tax returns. Every year, it's been getting more and more disappointing. Now, when I first started the business, tax season was 3 months long, and it was a complete insane shopping spree. Like, people were just buying left and right. Some people got their taxes quick, some people waited and filed them later, and you got money later. But it was about 3 months of just insane selling cars. It was probably one of the funnest times ever in my life. It's just, we'd buy a car, it wouldn't even be outside. People would be banging on our door. I want that, I'll pay you whatever you want, I need a car. And so that was kind of the market. Well, right before I sold my dealership 2 years ago, it was awful. We had maybe 2 weeks of tax season. Like, we were busy for about 2 weeks, phones blowing up, people spending money, and then it just stopped. It blew me away. It used to be, like I said, 3 months and then 2 weeks of people buying cars and doing stuff like that. Now, there's a bunch of things that kind of, trickled away the market. Like we said, they were charging that healthcare tax credit. They were going after a lot of people for student loans. They were changing a lot of the rules and regulations. So now it's hurting people's tax returns. And now what's going to happen in 2022 is a lot of the people that were on unemployment for the last year and collecting stimulus, a lot of the people didn't realize that when you collect unemployment, you actually have to pay taxes on it. So if you didn't click the little button right there saying, hey, I want to pay my taxes on it, they're gonna charge you basically the tax when your tax bill comes out. So as of right now, I think there's a lot of people that are holding out for tax season, waiting for the money to get there. I personally don't think it's gonna happen. I hope I'm wrong, But I'm going to tell you guys why I think this. So we have a lot of people that got a lot of government assistance, whether it was unemployment, stimulus, and some of these other things, and they didn't click to take taxes out of a lot of those government issued funds. And so what's going to happen is they're expecting, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 back. And when it happens, they're not going to get it. They're going to be like, oh, well, you owe us from all your unemployment that we gave you. So now the people that you're relying on to give you $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 down on all your cars are slowly going to be whittled down to maybe $1,500, $800, and it's not going to work. And on top of that, there's a lot of people that that have had issues with like student loan forgiveness, stuff like that. They haven't been paying. A lot of those people are going to get their tax returns revoked because of a new law that was passed about a year ago, where if you don't pay your student loans, they just take your tax return. And so I see little things like this happening more and more. They're doing double checks now for like 2 years back of unemployment, student loans, any type of government assistance, whatever else the case may be. They overpaid you for taxes one year. They're literally going through and double checking everything so this way they can go after your money. Now, unfortunately, that's just the way the politicians are. I don't care if you're red or blue. They're all trying to take money from you. Period. I don't care what it is, they all want your money. So at the end of the day, they're going to try to tax you however they can. So now that we have that out of the way, we know that people are not paying their taxes, people are going to have less money down, and it's going to make it a little bit harder. The way it's going to affect the dealers is during tax season, most of the banks change their lending criteria. They tend to get a little more loose with the lending when people have bigger down payments. But what happens is it's a good thing because they, like I said, they're more loose with giving out money, but it requires a big down payment. So normally the people that come in with $5,000 down trying to buy like a $15,000 car, and they have maybe sketchy job history or a repo in the past, they would approve them. Now, that same person's going to want to, that car's no longer $15K. Now it's maybe $18,900 or $20K because of what happened in the market. And the guy's not going to have $5K. He's going to have maybe $2,000 or $1,000. And the banks are basically going to look at it and be like, no, we don't want to buy this deal. It's too much risk. And they kick it out. And so one by one, a lot of the deals that you guys are going to be sending to the banks are going to be kicked back due to insufficient down payments. They're going to see a risk emblem of over 80 points, and they're not going to want to take the risk. And this is what I believe is going to hurt dealers. So now you have the risk of not being able to sell as many cars when it comes to the lending aspect. Now we're going to start on the next one, which is basically right now where a lot of dealers, I have friends of mine right now that I'm begging don't do it. They're going to the auction. They're maxing out their lines. They're overpaying for cars right now, right? As we know, it's a slow season, even though the economy is supposedly doing good and the prices are so insane, it's crazy. People are stocking up for tax time because we all believe in our heads that this is the time when we're going to make the most money when it comes to car sales. So a lot of these dealers that are stocking up right now, in 60, 90 days, all their payments are going to come due. And some of these people are going to have to pay off in about another 30 days from now. So what's going to happen is all these guys that have been buying from like November till now, if they can't liquidate their cars during tax season, which they're hoping they can do, so this way they can clear them off their lines of credit and then get back to normal business, it's not going to happen. They're going to have a big amount of debt looming over their heads. They can't get rid of it. Customers don't have big down payments to bring them, and it's hurting the industry. Right now, the franchise stores are crushing independents. They're overpaying for cars, and they're getting almost no stips on financing, and they're getting all the money when it comes to that. So you as an independent, it's going to be much more harder to get started or to actually carry through when it comes to tax season. So please be very careful. Even if you buy 30 cars and you normally buy 60, even if you sell out of all 30, that's okay. I'd rather see you that way than get stuck with 60 cars and don't know what to do with it. And then, like I said, nobody has the big down payments to push those cars out, and then you're stuck with all these cars. So, like I said, I believe the tax season is not going to be very good, unfortunately, this year. Another thing that's going to kind of fall into that is the job numbers that came out, also the unemployment. They keep saying that everything is good, but as you watch the numbers, and you can Google it, you can watch CNN or Fox News or whoever you guys want to watch, they all say the same thing. Projected jobs, down here. Projected unemployment, we figure it's going to go down, it's going up. So little by little, people are realizing that the economy is not going the way we want. And as they start to raise interest rates for the Fed to combat inflation, it's just going to get more insane because that free money that the banks have been playing with, they're going to tighten up. And so now imagine if right in the middle of tax season, the government raises the interest rates, all the banks are going to pull back and say, oh man, they're raising the rates and they're not buying all the junk loans that we're putting out anymore. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hold off because now we're actually playing with our own money. So we need to be more safe, more diligent, and it's going to kill the subprime market. So if you're a small dealer that's doing subprime, you need to make sure you start getting a lot of different banks, so this way you don't have to rely on just one. Because depending on where your bank gets your money from, a lot of people don't know this, most subprime banks get their money from Wells Fargo. Find out who your banks get your money from. If they're private companies, if they're investors, if it's Bank of America, if it's any other banks besides Wells Fargo, check with that, because what happens is Wells Fargo, once they get something from the Fed saying they're crushing down on high interest rates and they're no longer doing like unguaranteed loans, they're going to freak out and they're going to pull back, and that trickles all the way down to the subprime lenders that usually do business with smaller independent dealerships. So this is why I believe it's going to get much, much harder. So make sure that you set yourself up for success. You have multiple banks. You know, you don't buy over what you normally buy. Stay small. Just kind of work your way through this storm. You know, I know everybody's so anxious to get back to normal. Like I used to sell 60 cars. I want to get back to 60 cars. I want you to too, but at the same point, I don't want you to actually damage yourself financially and risk your future for just one, hopefully, proposed tax season. Because even during a good economy, there's a lot of dealers that go out of business during tax season. We see it every year. If you watch my channel for a little while, I talk about some of the mishaps that happen. A lot of dealers go out, like we talked, they buy a bunch of cars, they go to sell them, they don't sell them, they start lowering the prices, they can't sell them. As tax season money goes away, all the prices start to dip. They're taking them to the auction. They can't sell them. They have big disparities. Next thing you know, somebody like Next Gear Capital shows up. Oh, we sold all your cars because you didn't want to sell them and you owe us $110,000. If you don't give us a check in a week, we're going to shut you down. And then boom, they KO them and put them out of business. So it happens just that fast every single year during a normal economy. During these times, it's even crazier. So a lot of people that are overpaying for cars, just keep that fluidity of moving vehicles. You know, if you watch me post some of my cars, like on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, stuff like that, a lot of times I could get more money for it if I hold it and wait. I'd rather just get rid of it, because as long as I keep the money moving, you'll never lose that much. So even if the market drops tomorrow, I'm still getting rid of cars and getting rid of them. And the new cars I'm buying a little bit back of what I normally bought, so this way that I can prepare myself for whatever dip is in the market, so you don't get screwed over. You're never holding anything too long. And also, the dealers with the flooring lines, I'm gonna tell you right now, do not hold and wait. The fees, the interests, the payments, the penalties, they're gonna rob you blind. Like I said, some of these lines of credit are a blessing and a curse. They can grow your business, but they can eat up all your capital. I remember I had bad months and I had to come up with $40,000 to $60,000 for my floor plans. It was absolutely insane. And imagine having 2 bad months, scraping up $100,000, $120,000. That's what you have to deal with when you start dealing with some of these lines. So please be careful. You know, I don't like to do the whole doom and gloom thing, but I just want to make sure that people realize what's going on. Now, if you think that your market's going to be better, please put in the comment section why you think it is, or maybe something, a strategy that you might have that you might want to share with everybody else in the group here. And this way you guys can kind of network, see other dealers in other areas, talk about what your plans are for tax season, because I think the more information we share, the better off we all are. You know, I know there's not a lot of channels that talk about some of the stuff that we talk about. There's a few dealer channels that I've seen out there, and they do give you a good little bit of information, but I don't think they go into some of the bigger stuff like what we're talking about now. Like, I know a lot of these dealers never had $1 million line of credit before. And once you get to that big and you start moving that kind of money, it gives you more opportunity to see how many crazy things happen in the automotive industry, especially when it comes to being a dealer. Now, like I said, please put in the comment section below whatever you're feeling, thoughts, questions, whatever else. As you guys know, I answer every single one myself personally, none of my staff, just myself. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna finish up with basically just talking really quickly about the rental car business as well as the automotive repair business. Now, rental car business, as you guys see, is slowing down a lot. I see a lot of people defleeting their Turo accounts right now. So I've seen cars, people go from like 50 cars to 30 cars, people that had 10 cars down to 4 cars. It's happening. If you have a big fleet, and you have a big payment every month, please start being careful and start watching that. Turo, like I said, as you guys can see, it's dipping lower and lower. Some markets that I've talked to, they're booming, they're doing great. I know there's a lot of guys in Miami right now that are just absolutely killing it. A few guys here in Vegas that are doing the same thing. But I've seen some stuff out in LA where, you know, one guy has a Tesla that's completely booked out for 2 months, and the guy down the street has the exact same Tesla. He has 3 rides this whole month and nothing else. So that's one of the things you just want to make sure you stay ahead of that. Once tax season comes, believe it or not, rental cars may pick up because a lot of the people don't have the big money to buy cars. So they're probably most likely to be renting cars and doing traveling instead of investing into cars. So I believe that you'll get a small bump through tax season. Now, when it comes to automotive repair, you guys are the only ones where I see nothing but sunshine and rainbows. When the economy takes a dump and taxes are high and things are bad and lending is tight, automotive repair booms because people can't afford to trade in their new cars. Typically what happens is people, they drive their cars, they don't do any maintenance to them, and when the maintenance bill is too high, they just drive them onto the dealership, trade them in, get another car, and just push the old one aside. It's almost going to be like it was in 2010, 11, and 12. During those times were my busiest times in the automotive repair industry because there were so many people that had shitty credit, they couldn't buy anything, and so they were forced to fix the cars that they had. We absolutely killed it those years. And I believe that we're going to see another thing happen like that. Also, there's a lot of people that are becoming fiscally responsible and learning about finance, credit, and everything else, and they're not going out and buying, you know, these $50,000, $60,000 cars anymore. They're being more kicked back, and they're actually buying cheap, affordable cars. Now, I told you guys that I sell a lot of cheap cars and we do wholesaling and stuff like that. And I meet a lot of people when we sell these cars, and I was shocked. I met people making, you know, $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 a year, and they were buying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 cars from me. They could easily afford a brand new car, but they chose to go this way because they all said the same thing. They're so afraid of what's going to happen with the economy. They don't want to get into a big payment. They don't want to overpay for something right now and then regret it, you know, 90 days from now. So they're being more restrictive, and they're being more judgmental when it comes to putting their finances on the line. And that's a good thing. That's the way we're supposed to do. But unfortunately, America is built off of knuckleheads that like to overspend. We are a consumer-based economy. So unless consumers are consuming, it slows everything down. So it's, like I said, it's kind of a double-edged sword. We got smart people that are buying less, and we got a bunch of dum-dums that are, which is our tax time and stimulus ballers that are just throwing all their money away. It's kind of a balancing act. But when it comes to automotive repair, please be ready. If you're in automotive repair, give us a shout out in the comment section. Let us know where your shop is, what you guys do, what your plans are for tax season. I'd definitely like to know about that. And also, if you're a rental car company and you're getting into the business, let me know what your tax strategy is. A lot of people don't know this. If this is your first time in the business, dealers, everybody, put in the comment section below what your strategy is for tax season. If you don't have one, you are totally behind. These is when you need the plan. We usually plan this in December. We start executing in January, especially if you start doing marketing like Facebook, Instagram. You want to launch everything now. You want to have your ads done. You want to be there. The whole goal is to be in the people's heads before they get their tax money. Because once they get their tax money, you guys see how it is. They're going buying furniture, clothes, jewelry, cars, and then poof, their money's gone. You know, out of sight, out of mind. But if you're constantly in front of them, that's how you basically get a little piece of the pie. I have friends that own furniture stores. They don't ever advertise except for December, January, and February, because they know that when those people get that tax money and they've been looking at their raggedy ass furniture for the last few months, they're going to look at it and be like, yeah, I need to get some new stuff. And he cleans up. He makes all of his money in those 3 months, just like us, the dealerships. So once again, put in the comment section below what your plans are for the tax season. And if you don't have any, that's okay. Put, I don't have anything. Does anybody have any recommendations? Look through the comment section, see what other people's plans are, share a network. Once again, a description of every one of my videos, I have links for everything. We have a Facebook group where you guys can share ideas, talk about stuff, you know, hopefully collaborate with some other people. If you want to book a consulting call, if you have questions about what's going on in the industry, you need some planning for your business, anything else like that, that's also down below. My email's down there below. If you have a quick question you want to answer, I'll try to answer as best I can if it's something simple. And once again, smash the like button. I truly appreciate it. If you have any questions, like I said, put them in the comment section below, and we'll see you next video.